What's going on, guys? PlayBox here, and we're back for another Dragon Ball Legends video. Now, I previously did a beginner's guide for people that want to get better at PvP, and that video did really good. So here I have another guide, like I mentioned at the end of that guide, that I can do a advanced guide for players that want to get even better. These techniques you'll see in like the top 10k, people do it all the time. So it's kind of like a sequel to the previous guide. But without further ado, let's hop in straight into the guide. Now, this first technique is something that you'll see very often in PvP, and basically intentionally dropping your combo mid-combo. So what I mean by this is whenever you're in the middle of a combo, you would purposely drop your combo, which will give your opponent the chance to vanish. But the way you do this is that you would intuitively know when your opponent, or you basically guess when your opponent is going to cover change, and in order to avoid the cover change, the sustained damage cut, or even like their cover rescue, you would purposely drop combo where the opponent's unit would still swap, but they wouldn't get the added benefit of their cover change. This is especially useful against units that have strike covers, blast covers like Merge Zamasu, Vegito Blue. Also for units that have cover rescue like SS3, Goku, and Cell. And it's very useful for Bojack because he can cover off of any strike or any move except a Rising Rush. So it's really useful to be able to avoid that basically. It's also useful for units that have cover cut, such as like some defense units like Trunks. They have probably some sort of sustained damage cut. This basically it doesn't get rid of it, but it avoids it completely. Now, there are a number of ways to perform this. The way I like to do it is basically doing a longer sidestep. So what I mean by this is whenever you do a sidestep, you would dash forward and swipe left or right. But in this case, you would dash forward, stop, and then swipe left or right. You would basically have to pause for like 1 second once you reach the opponent, and then swipe and then go for your attack. This would momentarily drop your combo, and if the opponent does switch characters, it would bring in the next character and you can continue your combo. Alright, so the next technique is something that you'll see pretty much everywhere on PvP. Literally almost all the players in the top 10k, even a bit below, would be using it. And it's something called double vanish. What this is basically after you use your vanish, you would switch to your character and use your vanish again, expecting the enemy to perform a key cancel and go for an attack. This basically allows you to have the opportunity to gain priority once again, but you have to be careful when using this because sometimes you won't have the chance to go straight away for a combo, so you would have to wait for them to sidestep or do some sort of attack that you can capitalize on. So whenever you use this double vanish, be careful because it doesn't guarantee that you'll gain priority. The way to perform this, I mentioned already, is basically once you use your vanish, you switch to your next character and go for a vanish again, expecting them for an attack. You can do this again if they themselves do a vanish, but that's basically the gist of it. Alright, this next technique is really useful, but it's also hard to get it as an instinctual move, and it's something called drifting. Now, drifting basically means being able to move your character around the screen. But the reason for why it's useful is that right after a sidestep or something like that, it gives the illusion that you'll maybe sidestep again. So the enemy team will think that you're going to go for a sidestep so they can capitalize on it. But in fact, you're not going for a sidestep. So when they go for a strike attack, you can actually vanish it. People actually tend to use drifting a lot right after they key cancel. A lot of players actually key cancel and then sidestep right away, which gives the enemy the opportunity to capitalize on them. But when you key cancel and then drift, it gives the illusion that you're going to go for a sidestep, but you actually don't. So when they go for an attack, you can easily vanish out of it and gain priority like that. Alright, this next one is not really a technique, more so just a move, and it's basically being able to do a single tap and not spamming your tap attacks. So what I mean by this is whenever you go for a tap attack, there's a chance that the enemy can vanish it, and if they do manage to vanish it, and you go and you spam your tap attacks, you'll basically be stuck in the tapping animation, and your enemy can basically capitalize on that and get you into a combo. But if you go for a single tap and the enemy does vanish that, you have the chance to vanish their combo if they do go straight away for an attack. If they do that, then you basically gain priority over them, and you can basically string your combo and do as much damage as possible. It's always important to just go for a single tap, even when you're gonna just do a tap attack. Don't always spam it, because once you do a single tap, you can always continue the tapping animation with multiple taps afterwards. So always go for a single tap and never spam your tap attacks. This next technique kind of ties in with the previous one, and this technique is called backdashing. It's not something you'll use very often, but it is quite useful for gaining priority. This is only used when you pretty much studied your enemy's behavior and notice that if they go for a lot of tap attacks right after a key cancel, the best way to counteract this is by using a backdash. So how to perform this is basically after you use a vanish from the enemy's blast arts and they key cancel into a tap attack, you would want to backdash your character so that their unit is tap attacking basically nothing. So if they don't go for a single tap off the key cancel, you can catch them in the middle of their tapping animation and gain priority that way. However, you have to watch out, because if they do go for a single tap and you go straight for your attack, they can vanish out of it and they'll gain priority over you. So just watch out, and always watch out to see if their tapping animation is longer or just shorter because of the single tap. But yeah, that's pretty much all the advanced techniques that I can think of. So I've made 2 guides already, and these 2 guides will basically encompass all the techniques that I use on a regular basis in high ranking PvP, and a lot of players use in top 10k, top 1k even. So hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, please leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe, because that shit is so important, so don't forget. Other than that, have a great day. See ya.